Exclusive coverage from Trend Room. Full details below. The tragic murder of young British man Henry Nowak in the streets of Southampton has officially transcended a local-stabbing investigation to become a massive socio-political wildfire, generating explosive tractions across X and global media. The public outrage is not just fueled by the sheer brutality of the track. Instead, it's the chilling, leaked police body cam footage that has shocked the nation. The footage exposed the final moments of a dying victim, igniting dangerous history questions surrounding the integrity, systemic bias, and institutional failure of modern British policing. The trap of ideology. Why did officers believe the killer's lie? The catalyst for this unprecedented public fury was the courtroom release of the body cam video. The footage explicitly shows Henry Nowak bleeding out from 5 severe stab wounds, including a fatal plunge into his chest inflicted by attacker Vikram Degwa. Shockingly, instead of administering life-saving first aid, responding officers rushed to handcuff, pin, and arrest the dying victim. This catastrophic error occurred because the officers instantly fell for a calculated lie fabricated by the killer and his mother. Degwa claimed that Henry was the aggressor who had subjected them to racial abuse, paralyzed by institutional fear. The officer prioritized ideological narratives over human life. Desperate to avoid allegations of mishandling, a hate crime, the police blindly accepted the minority attacker's word. They openly mocked Henry's agonizing pleas, telling him, "We don't believe you've been stabbed," while leaving him to die in handcuffs. The two-tier policing debate is justice divided in Britain. Henry Nowak's death has thrust the controversial term two-tier policing into the mainstream British lexicon with undeniable force. Millions of citizens, commentators, and political figures accuse the establishment of executing double standards. The prevailing public sentiment argue that UK police now treats minority or culturally sensitive cases with hyper-fragile leniency to avoid systemic racism accusations. Conversely, they apply aggressive, unchecked prejudice against the white majority, as seen in Henry's fatal immobilization. This deep-seated perception of biased justice has triggered aggressive demands to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion mandates within the police, which critics argue have crippled officers' basic survival and triage instincts. The Elon Musk storm, the secret behind the global amplification, this case would have likely remained under local media suppression if not for the aggressive, direct intervention of ex-owner Elon Musk. Musk personally weaponized his global platform, pushing the story into international headlines by authoring and amplifying over 110 posts regarding Henry Nowak's murder. The secret behind Musk's obsessive focus lies in his ongoing ideological war against what he terms the woke mind virus. Musk used the tragedy to expose the dangers of prioritizing racial politics over fundamental human logic. He fiercely condemned mainstream British media format of perceived censorship, explicitly arguing that Henry's death is the catastrophic endgame of political ideologies capturing Western security and judicial apparatuses. Conclusion: is a life sentence enough? Why the judicial chapter technically closed with killer Vikram Degwa receiving a mandatory life sentence with a minimum of 21 years. The British public views this justice as incomplete. Outraged citizens are no longer satisfied with just penalizing the murderer and his complicit mother. The nation is now demanding the immediate criminal prosecution of the responding police officers whose negligent handcuffing accelerated Henry's death. Ultimately, the Henry Nowak case remains a dark permanent scar on British legal history, forcing an urgent and comfortable reckoning over what true equal justice means.